Calvary Students, welcome to a new month of student ministry. March is here and we have so many exciting things planned for this month that we're going to get to do with you guys. In a couple weeks, we're going to be able to have a Mario minigame madness night. Next week, we're going to be playing Family Feud here on campus. So stick around to the end of this video so you can check out our calendar and make sure you don't miss anything we have going on. With that, we don't just have fun events planned, but we have a whole new series planned. Last month, we talked about returning to God and what that looks like in our lives. We learned James 4:8, draw near to God and He'll draw near to you. And I hope that verse has been really close to you, that it's been a verse that you have been thinking about over the last few weeks. And this week, we begin something new. It's a series called Clean Heart. We're going to be talking about over this month how we can have a pure heart before God. Psalm 51 is this Psalm of David after he's done something really messed up. And in this Psalm, David really goes into detail, asking God to forgive him and make his heart pure. And in Psalm 51:10, he said, "Create in me a pure heart, O God, and renew a steadfast spirit within me." That's going to be a verse we're going to be learning together throughout the month of March. And I hope it's something that begins to impact your life. But today we're just going to get it started. We're going to talk about our need to have a clean heart before God. One thing that's been interesting on TikTok, kind of lately, but really always, is tutorial videos on how to do different things. And every now and then you see some that you think are real that are really fake. So several months ago, I saw one where somebody took a whole thing of spaghetti and threw it all over their white rug. And I immediately said, man, that's going to be so hard to clean off. I mean, it's going to basically be impossible, but you know how it is, like 5-minute craft videos. They threw the spaghetti on, they rubbed it all in, they took it off, and then they said, get you some dish detergent, get you some water, and then put it down and scrub and scrub and scrub and scrape and scrape and scrape, and gave all of these things. And so somebody was watching one of these tutorial videos and they said, you know what, I'm going to try it for myself. So they go and do it and they say, you know what, I'm about to get this done. They start scrubbing, they start scraping, and guess what happens? That spaghetti does not come out of the rug. And it's not a very good day in that house. See, many times in life we think that our sin, the things that we've done against God, they're so bad that they kind of leave a residue. Kind of like that illustration right there. Even though you cleaned up the rug, it's still going to look like spaghetti for a little while, right? But the good news of the gospel is that God, when He cleans up our life, when He forgives us for now, forever, and our sin is completely gone. And we as believers need to live continually asking Him for forgiveness and making sure that our hearts are clean before God. He's the only one that can do that. He wants to do that in your life. And so this month, I hope that you'll reflect on that and have a pure heart before God. So we're going to talk about the first two verses of Psalm 51. Basically, this month, that's what we're doing. We're staying in Psalm 51. We're going to look a couple verses at a time and see what God has to tell us about having clean hearts. So verse 1 and 2 say this: "Have mercy on me, O God, according to your unfailing love. According to your great compassion, blot out my transgressions. Wash away all my iniquity and cleanse me from my sin." So this is David talking. He starts off, he says, God, have mercy on me. And mercy is when God shows us that love, that forgiveness that we really don't deserve. David had done something really messed up. So he comes before God and he asks Him, have mercy on me. And he says, have mercy on me according to your unfailing love. The reason why he could go before God and say, God, will you please have mercy on me, is because he knew that God's love is unfailing, that God's love will never fail us. And he knew that. That's why he asked God to have mercy on him. He continued and said, according to your great compassion, the great compassion that God had showed him in his life, blot out my transgressions. So that's what made me think of that spaghetti analogy, that blot out, cleaning. It's this idea that my life needs cleaning, and God, I want you to clean me and wash me and make me pure. That's verse 1. Verse 2 says, wash away all my iniquity and cleanse me from my sin. So it's almost like thinking about when you get really dirty and you wash off your feet or you wash off your hands. That's the kind of idea that David wanted God to do in his life because of his sin. And so it tells me a couple things about having clean hearts and the sin that we have to deal with every single day. First, we've fallen short of the standards of God. Now, David did something really messed up. You probably know what it is. He had an affair with the woman and eventually had her husband killed, which is a terrible, terrible, terrible thing for him to do. And God still forgave him. And you may say, I've never done either of those things. I haven't done anything that bad. But each of us have different things that we struggle with in our life. We have different sins, different problems, different challenges that we go through, and different ways, honestly, that we decide to walk away from God's plan in our life. There are just some things that are universal to humans. Like humans, we breathe. If you don't breathe, you die. That's what happens. We eat. If you don't eat, you die. You drink water. That's universal to humans. You got to do that. Another thing that's universal to humans that really stinks is we all deal with sin and we all walk away from God's plan naturally. You don't really have to teach somebody to do bad, but you have to teach them to do good. I mean, you think about a kid, you think about training them or training a dog, they easily do what you don't want them to do. It's very hard to get them to do the right thing. And so all of us naturally move away from God. And that's the truth that really David shows us right here. Even though David did some pretty messed up stuff, I'm sure in your own life, there are ways that you've walked away from God that you're probably not proud of. There are ways that I've walked away from God that I'm not proud of. And because of that, we need God to clean us up. We need our hearts that become kind of dirty and our hearts that walk away from God to be cleaned up. And the reality is only God can wash our heart clean. That's the truth. Only God can wash our heart clean. You can do a lot to clean your hands or your feet or your body, whatever, but only God can clean our heart. And when we talk about our heart, we're not talking about like our physical beating heart inside of us. The heart described in the Bible kind of encapsulates like the mind, what we think about, really our inner being. That's what it's talking about. And so what we need God to do is to clean our inner being, something that we can't do ourselves. We can clean our outer being. We can't clean our mind, our inner thoughts, what God has made up inside of us. Only God can do that. And so quickly, just application for tonight as we begin this series and really just introduce this idea that we need to have a clean heart. One thing that we're really going to have to do in this series, all of us, is we're going to have to identify areas of weakness inside ourselves. We're going to have to be honest and open and true and really think about ways that maybe we do struggle in our faith, ways that we do walk away from God's plan. We're going to have to do that. And if we're not willing to be honest with ourselves, to be true with ourselves and identify areas of weakness, there's no way that we can move past them. But not only that, we have to turn to God who has all the strength. And remember that this analogy of clean heart, remember, we can clean up our hands, we can clean up our body, we can't clean up our heart, and we need God to do that. So this isn't a series where I'm saying, hey, you need to do this, do this, do this, do this to clean up your own heart. No, we need to turn to God and say, God, I can't do it myself. I need you to forgive me. I need you to bring me into right relationship with you. I need you to clean my heart. So get ready, because this month is going to be awesome. And I hope that each of us are going to be challenged and inspired in our faith as we discover what it means to have a clean heart. I hope that you'll join us all month as we have online and in-person opportunities for you to grow in your faith and to also challenge other people in your faith. So we'll see you in the next video, and make sure to check out our calendar and put those things down so you can join us for this month as we discover what it means to have a clean heart.